fun.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan. Happy New Year coming up. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful time with their family. I know a lot of people are still getting together today and this weekend, so enjoy that. And then, of course, we'll be celebrating New Year's. And don't forget, LeBear's Casino has a great New Year's bash each and every year. So make sure if you're looking for something to do, don't forget LeBear's over there in Baton Rouge. All right, TK. First off, let's talk a little bit about the Christmas football games that happened yesterday. The Lions had something to play for. They needed to win their next last two games of the season, and then hope the Packers lost their last two games of the season. And the Lions went out and laid an absolute complete egg. I mean, there's been some shocking developments this year, and the Lions being terrible, or not terrible, but being, it looks like potentially a 500 team not making the playoffs, and then the Kansas City Chiefs demise. Of course, a lot of that had to do with Patrick Mahomes' injury, but they probably weren't going to make the playoffs even with Mahomes being healthy. So, those two franchises were thinking Super Bowl all off season, and instead they're not even going to make the playoffs. And then, of course, a meaningless win by the Cowboys over their rival, the Commanders. And then what was the other game? Oh, the Broncos knocked off the Chiefs. Uh, Denver wins again on a Lutz field goal at the end. They busted my over. I had 38 and a half, and it landed at 41. But the Broncos are the number one seed in the AFC. Are they the weakest number one seed ever in the history of pro football, Tommy?
Well, they might be, but they think they're good. And Bo Nix is up and down, more up than down. And, it's kind of a strange story. The whole league is so much more balanced. And they say now that the Chiefs are out of the way, that's been the nemesis of the Bills. Maybe the Bills roll. And go back to the Detroit Lions. Right, last year they were the number one seed in the NFC playoffs. And now they're not going to make it. So, what have you done for me lately? And that's how fast things are changing in all sports across the board. I mean, the days of dynasties and all of that are just over. I mean, there's just so many layers and so many factors. Then the three games on Christmas, social media blowing up, the games on Netflix, terrible camera angles, the announcers were poor, audio and video is not synced up most of the time. Kind of a disaster with the Netflix thing. Amazon with the last game, they've been doing that all year, but I don't know. The NFL coming off as greedy. Charles Barkley said, hey, it's supposed to be the NBA's day on Christmas Day. NFL's being greedy. And one of the teams, that was their third game in 10 days. So much for safety. But, so a lot of talk about all of that. I didn't get to watch a lot of the games doing so much family stuff yesterday. But the Lions were eliminated from the playoffs.
Travis Kelce, by the way, many think may have played his final home game for the Kansas City Chiefs. It definitely felt that way when he was walking off the field. I think many of the fans, the players, thought this was going to be it. You never know these days. A lot of times guys will retire, unretire, whatnot. But clearly we know he's not going to need the money, right? He's already done enough with his own career, and then the podcast. They signed $100 million deal, I think, a year ago, and then obviously his wife's going to be Taylor Swift. So, from that perspective, he doesn't need it to play. Be curious to see if this really is in fact it. It definitely does feel that way. He's a surefire Hall of Famer. All right. College football, did you happen to see the highlight of the end of that Western Michigan game?
I did not.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was, you need Tommy, go find it. It's
I will.
the most unbelievable almost win ever. Uh, Being down, I don't know, four scores with 3 minutes to go or something. It was bizarre. Go look on and find that. All right. So the bowl game tomorrow, this is one of the most bowl games ever that LSU has played in. Outside of friends and family and a few people that live in Houston, I don't know if anybody's excited about this bowl game that's going to happen tomorrow night. LSU Houston, the line hasn't changed at all. The Tigers find themselves a 2.5-point dog, which I'm really surprised, Tommy, with all the defections and all that. I think it's it speaks to the wise men and nope and the gamblers for that reason, because if they thought there was an opening or they thought that the line should shift, it would naturally takes care of itself with the money. But I don't think there's probably a lot of action on this game, and at the same time nobody knows where to go with it.
I tell you, it's the least amount of excitement for a game. People say, hey, just bring on LSU baseball. By the way, Michael Braswell signed a deal with the Kansas City Royals, and he's going to try his relief pitch thing. He's got a gun. He had pitched a little bit in South Carolina briefly before he came to LSU. So good for Braswell. But back to the bowl game, LSU fans, I mean, Ronnie, I mean, if you want value, I think you have to bet Houston -2.5. Willie Fritz, the team's undefeated on the road. And you said this the other day, to beat an SEC team, beat, an LSU program will do well for them in the offseason, et cetera. Games in Houston, a lot of LSU alumni and fans in the greater Houston area. So, but I'm just like you. I mean, people just aren't talking about this game. Frank Wilson, it's going to be his last hurrah. He's an Ole Miss employee the next day. And it's just not, like you said, there's no juice, there's no excitement. I guess people that are around on TV at 8:15 Saturday night will flip it on.
It's a different world. You saw where Alabama had a couple of backup players, talented players, leaving the team. I mean, in the middle of the playoffs, which is crazy. It's crazy because the you don't even have to declare for the portal, until January. The portal opens like January 2nd or whatever. And they
That's
play on
correct.
like the 30th or something, 31st, or like they even play a day or two before. You could easily declare after the game if you wanted. Why wouldn't you stick around and play in another game and help your team? But it's just the whole world is selfish and it's all about me. The uh, Willingham just retired over at Utah. This guy's a college football future Hall of Famer. Wins 2/3 of his games at Utah. Had him 13-0 back in 2008, and been a really solid, consistent, big time program. Remember, Urban Meyer turned over the program to him. That's how long he's been there. Well, he's just retired, just stepped down. I don't know, a week or so ago. Well, we thought he might have retired, and it's now he's the lead name for the Michigan job. It sounds as if Michigan's going to go all in and trying to get Willingham from Utah. It's an interesting choice. Guy's 66 years old. To me, this is like a Brian Kelly type resume.
Yeah, it really is. And I'd be surprised if Michigan would be able to get him, but it might be what they have to do because, they want to drink with. He got the extension in Missouri. Jeff Brom doesn't want to, a lot of people saying, and Ronnie, it sheds a little light when the interim coach, the guy Pogge at Michigan, says this program's been a mess for 5 years. And of course, now all the things have come out that they knew a whole lot more about Sharon Moore, as it was going on, and maybe, they kind of covered it up or looked the other way or whatever. Michigan program, SMU got the death penalty in the 80s, and NCAA won't do that again. But this program is the dirtiest program of the decade, no question about it.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I mean, they're a mess, but for the previous 4 years under Harbaugh, they won a national championship, beat Ohio State every year. And you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty impressive for them to be that screwed
but
up
the
and yet
question
still
comes up,
win.
all the cheating and the video scandal and Harbaugh lied to the NCAA. That was proven to be a fact, but over a hamburger. So if he lied about buying a kid a hamburger, he lied about the videotapes and everything else. Or at least that's my opinion.
What else we got, TK?
Well, just the Pelicans rolling on. I'm 13-18. I got a win the other night. That's good. They play the Suns tonight in New Orleans. 4.5, 5.5 point favorite is Phoenix, depending on where you're shopping. Brooks Koepka, a couple of family issues, but he has discontinued his association with the Live Tour. Now, all players who joined the Live Tour were suspended by the PGA Tour. So I don't think anything's going to happen this next month or whatever, but it'll be interesting to see if Brooks Koepka, who's a 5-time major champion, gets back on the PGA Tour. And does that open the door for others if they realize they can get back? So kind of a story flying under the radar unless you're a golf nut. But I think it's a big story that could lead to more.
So the rule is that once you the decline, once you leave live, that's a 1 year suspension from the time you leave live. Now he can obviously play in the majors, but so all right, so he announced now, so we're talking about a year from now he could rejoin the PGA Tour. Um, Obviously the PGA Tour has a decision to make. He was not a part of the lawsuit against the PGA that a number of players on the Live Tour did. He didn't join that suit, so maybe that gets him some grace. He's never been one to be controversial and speak ill of the PGA Tour or anything while he was with the Live situation. He admits now that when he joined Live, he was down with physically. He was questioning his abilities moving forward, and he took the money. And you can't necessarily blame him. Everyone's taking the money now. Um, so this would be an opportunity for an olive branch for the PGA Tour to to take him back. And if he does, if they take him back, then you would think they would take others. If everybody bends the knee, apologizes, whatever, you might see a mass exodus of live golfers back to the PGA, or at least the high level live golfers. But at the end of the day, each individual golfer is making their decision. Liv is going to 4 rounds instead of 3. Remember, that's been a thing of theirs that they would play only 3 rounds on the weekends. Now they're going to go to 4 rounds. They did that, they say, to help with the world rankings and things like that, and to help their players get on Ryder Cup teams and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, Liv is going to be in New Orleans this year. It's going to be at City Park in June. Can you imagine going to a golf tournament in June in New Orleans? I mean, that's like a Bataan Death March type of scenario. But that's what they're going to do. You can thank old Donald Trump for that. He told Jeff Landry to hey, we need some help and all that. Jeff Landry ponies up $6 million to pay Live. By the way, the state of Louisiana has never paid the PGA a dime to come to Louisiana. They've been coming for 60 years, and boom, pay Live $6 million. Sign, I know it's a multi-year deal. I think it's 3 years, might be 5. But I think 3. And then basically, when the deal gets done, Donald Trump patches things up with the PGA. Remember, his golf course now, the Blue Monster down at Doral in Miami, is now going to host a PGA event. It got taken away from him, so now he's kumbaya with the PGA. So now he's all PGA, but Louisiana's all Live. And of course, it's pissed off the PGA and the Zurich Open and all that. They're when their contract's up, it's going to be a pickle. So it's a mess, but. Louisiana hopefully can might get off the hook if Liv just folds. I can't imagine Tommy Liv sticking around much longer. They don't have a major TV contract. Nobody cares. Nobody pays attention. They're losing gazillions of dollars. They lost one of their anchor stars in Kepka. To me, if you're Liv, just fold it up and go home.
Well, they're gonna, I mean, the USFL folded up, the XFL, other pro leagues have tried to launch and could not survive. Okay. And even though they got deep pockets with the Live Tour, they're not going to survive because nobody cares, nobody watches, nobody knows the thing, and they get the 4-man teams. I mean, it's more confusing than the World Golf Rankings, which are very confusing. But I think Liv's going to go away, not just because Kepka's decision this week, but they got rid of Greg Norman, everything that's kind of been flowing in the last year plus. I think we're going to end up seeing Liv go away and back to the PGA Tour as we knew it prior to Liv.
Hopefully that is the case. TK, today is my last day in beautiful Vail, Colorado. We're right
How's the
here.
hamstring doing?
The knee and all is fine. So a few days ago, I injured my knee, banged it up, kind of got it twisted. I was getting off of a lift, and a lady kind of hooked her ski a little bit inside mine, and I went down like a wishbone. My knee got stretched, but it actually was just a little bit of a strain. I stayed off of it for a couple days, and then I threw like a little knee brace sleeve on, and I was able to ski all day yesterday and did fine. We just did happen though, Tommy, to take a horrific fall coming down the final run of the day. It was super, super icy conditions. And now we got a right shoulder issue. We got a banged up right shoulder, Tommy. Can barely move it away, my arm away from my body. Definitely can't lift much. So, yeah, we're playing one handed right now. We're Jim Abbott. That's what we are.
So get you some River of Life capsules, and you'll feel a little better. Because I mean, we got radio tomorrow. Remind folks we will be on the air tomorrow, 10 to 12, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and Lake Charles. But hope you get well, Ryan. The shoulder, the knee. You're getting a little old for the slopes.
Yeah. I think we're a little past the River of Life capsules. We might be looking at an X-ray when we get back.
Should I call Dr. Craig Green for you?
That's right.
In there. I mean, he took care of my knees, as you know. So
well, we're with the Baton Rouge Rougarou, we're Team Ochsner. We're Team Ochsner. The Andrews Medical, Dr. Andrews Medical Center.
Up there. Yeah. Hey, look, Rougarou and Gumbo Gators. I saw all the Christmas greetings on social media. Just maybe a point, people follow the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators, follow the Baton Rouge Rougarou, all the social media platforms, because there'll be stuff going on all spring leading up to the summer games, etc. It's going to be a fun time. Texas Collegiate League gaining a lot of juice.
Yeah, to get your season tickets or get your merchandise, brrougarou.com and gumbogators.com. TK, I'll see you in person tomorrow back in Baton Rouge. Have a great one.
All right, appreciate it, Ronnie Rance. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood not open till Tuesday. Much deserved break for the employees and family. So anyway, Tremonti's be open Tuesday if you need to get something going for New Year's Eve, whatever you might be having going on. Remind you, Court Street Cafe in Port Allen, where we'll be on Monday. Don't forget, they got breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Steak night Saturday. Get their steaks from Tremonti's. The Sunday brunch, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. is great. Jason and the staff at Court Street Cafe do a super duper job in Port Allen, just a couple of minutes over the Mississippi River Bridge. Hey, don't forget to like and share this show. Regardless of whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X, please like and share this show. That helps everybody involved. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ, and enjoy the weekend, everybody. We talk to you tomorrow morning. I want to get this up. Radio 10 to 12, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles through the ESPN radio platform. Check out Ronnie Rance and I, Hunter McCann, Derry Beckwith, Joel Davis. The gang will be all there. All right. Hope you have a wonderful Friday and a good weekend. Enjoy this holiday season. Great time for family and friends. I'm Tommy Christ saying, have a great day, everyone.